Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Euraccess Africa, I would like to warmly welcome you to today's webinar dedicated to the European Research Council, ERC, funding opportunities for researchers based on Africa. We are delighted to organize this event in collaboration with the European Research Council and to bring together researchers, academics, and innovation stakeholders interested in advancing excellent research through European funding programs. First, we will hear from Dr. Maybach, the regional representative for Euraccess Africa, who will introduce Euraccess services and opportunities available to researchers across the African continent. We are also honored to welcome Mr. Nikos Vosnakis, Scientific Officer at the European Research Council. Nikos obtained his PhD in molecular and cell biology from the University of Strasbourg, France. Through his career, he was worked in research laboratories in the United Kingdom, France, and the United States. He is currently responsible for several life sciences panels and bring extensive expertise on ERC funding and evaluation processes. Thank you all for joining us today. We hope this webinar will help you better understand the opportunities offered by the ERC and encourage you to take the next step in your research career. Without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Maybach to begin the session. Dr. Bach, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmed. So I'm going to share my screen. So it's fine?
Yes.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. My name is Maybach, and I'm a regional representative for Euraccess Africa. I'm also an assistant professor of neuroscience at the American University in Cairo. And I'm pleased to briefly introduce today Euraccess Africa. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what Euraccess Africa is, the services we provide, and most importantly, how researchers and institutions can stay connected with us and benefit from our opportunities. So Euraccess worldwide is an initiative that's supported by the European Commission. Its purpose is to connect researchers around the world with opportunities in Europe and beyond. So through Euraccess, you can access information on funding, mobility, career development, collaboration, and networking. It's built on the fundamental principle that free movement of researchers and ideas is what actually motivates and propels scientific progress. So it's not just a website, it's a global network. We have a team of 18 dedicated representatives across 9 hubs around the world, working to bring European research opportunities closer to local research communities. So Euraccess Africa is one of these worldwide hubs, and it was launched to strengthen research and innovation collaboration between Africa and Europe. So specifically, Euraccess Africa was launched in 2022 and is represented by Dr. Ahmed Maalil, who is based in Tunisia, Dr. Yedelfana Mikonen, who is based in Ethiopia, and myself, Maybach, who is based in Egypt. And we work across the continent to support African researchers and help make European research opportunities more visible and accessible. So we provide free access to information about research in Europe, funding opportunities, mobility schemes, networking, and we also provide practical guidance for researchers who want to develop their careers in Europe or collaborate with European partners. And the important point here is that all Euraccess services are free of charge, and the network is open to all nationalities, disciplines, and career stages. So we engage with research community through several channels. We have our official website, we have social media, we have flash notes, newsletters, also through information sessions and practical workshops that we organize. Our community now is comprised of over 22K email subscribers and over 21K followers on social media. So one easy way to stay informed is to subscribe to our Euraccess Africa updates. This would allow you as a researcher or institution to receive reliable and up-to-date information on EU funding, mobility, webinars, and research opportunities directly by email. So I'm going to keep this QR code throughout the few upcoming slides as well. So you can also, of course, visit our official Euraccess website. This is where you can access specific Euraccess worldwide hubs. I encourage you to become familiar with the website because it's a very useful gateway to the European research opportunities. So if you go here to Network and select Euraccess Worldwide, then from the Euraccess Worldwide section, you can select your regional hub at Worldwide Africa here. You can find all opportunities, news, events that are particularly relevant to the African research communities. Then if you select Euraccess Africa, you will be guided to our page. Here you can find news, events, jobs, and funding, and other useful information. It's important to really check this page regularly in order not to miss any important relevant opportunity that might be of interest. You can also be active and use one of the most useful features, that is the jobs and opportunities section here. Researchers can search for PhD positions, postdocs, opportunities, research jobs, hosting offers, and it's especially useful for early career researchers who are looking for their next academic or research mobility opportunity. So here, for example, I searched for postdoc opportunities in computational neuroscience. The platform also allows users to filter opportunities by country, research, field, career stage, type of position, academic level, etc. And this makes it much easier to find relevant opportunities instead of searching throughout the entire search results. So in addition to the website, I strongly encourage you to follow Euraccess Africa on LinkedIn, another easy way to stay updated because we regularly post funding calls, fellowship deadlines, webinars, event highlights, and opportunities that is relevant to the African research community. We're also active beyond the online communication. We have engaged with researchers and institutions through physical events, which were held across 15 plus African countries to date. For example, last April, Euraccess Africa, we participated in GITEX Africa 2026. We engaged with researchers, innovators, and startups across Africa. Another recent event was the Horizon Europe Information Session and Grant Writing Workshops in Debre Berhan University in Ethiopia, which supported over 200 researchers and institutional stakeholders with practical guidance on EU funding, mobility opportunities, and proposal development. We also organize regular online events covering Horizon Europe Africa Initiative, the Mediterranean Initiative, MSCA, and ERC Grants Info Session. In 2026 alone, more than 14 webinars are planned in both English and French, involving experts, fellows, NCPs, EU delegations, and research partners. So our aim is not only to announce opportunities, but also to help researchers understand how to practically make use of them. So to conclude, Euraccess Africa is here to help researchers and institutions across Africa to connect with the European research opportunities. So whether you are a PhD student, a postdoctoral researcher, a senior academic, or a research manager, there is a way for you to engage. So I really encourage you to join our research and innovation community and connect with us through our social media platforms because we are here to support you. So thank you so much for your attention.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Main, for this nice presentation about Euraccess services. So I will give the floor now to our speaker, ERC speaker, Nikos. Nikos, the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Yes, I hope you can hear me well.
Yes.
And I will try to share the right screen to start. Is it okay for you? Full screen?
Yes, full screen. Yes.
All right. So I would like to say good morning from Brussels to everyone, and thank you for inviting me to give this brief introduction to the ERC and its funding schemes. I would like to just start by I will start with a basic introduction of the ERC. I will speak a little bit about the grants we have, what are the criteria that are being evaluated when you apply for a grant, describe briefly the selection process, then give you a couple of tips or try to clarify some misconceptions that potential applicants have sometimes from what we've noticed. I will show you a little bit of statistics on the international aspects of our applicants. And of course, in the end, I will be happy to answer any questions and give some further clarifications based on your input. So I will start by saying that ERC is part of Horizon Europe, which is the EU research and innovation program from the years 2021 to 2027 for the European Union. And importantly, it represents, it acquires a budget of 16 billion, which is 17% of the Horizon budget Europe. More specifically, the ERC is part of the Pillar 1 of Horizon Europe, which is excellent science. And as you see, compared to other programs, it has a central role. So from the beginning of the ERC, you see that the budget has increased significantly. So we have reached throughout the framework programs at least more than, I would say, 3 times increase, 2.5 maybe, 3 times increase in budget. And this represents, of course, the increased needs for budget in research. So we try to follow up. Now, about the ERC and its governance, as you may know, there is an independent scientific council composed of 22 distinguished members, including the ERC president, which have full authority over the strategy of the organization. And this council is supported by an implementation structure, which we call the ERC Executive Agency, and this includes all the staff that run the operational part of the evaluation and the general support to applicants, granting, etc. So the ERC is known for providing scientific freedom, as excellence is the only criterion during the evaluations. It supports individual scientists and no consortia, and only small teams in the case of the synergy grants, up to 4 PIs. There is no predetermined subjects in the ERC proposals, so it's a bottom-up approach. And it provides support to frontier research in all fields, so in science, humanities. There is no exclusion here. And of course, we want to believe that its quality of evaluation is based on the quality of the international peer review process that is being followed. So I would like just to briefly show you the current composition of the ERC Scientific Council. You see that the scientists composing this council come from the different fields of science and humanities, as I mentioned. And of course, you can find more details on them online. I mentioned the role of the ERC Executive Agency, but just to make it clear, I would like to say that the agency executes the work program as this is decided by the Scientific Council. We implement the call for proposals. We organize the peer review evaluation. We manage the grant agreements. We do all the administration work about the scientific and financial aspects and follow-up of the grants. And the agency is also responsible for communication activities and information dissemination. Now, of course, there is the central question of who can apply for an ERC grant and what the application should be focused on. So the ERC funding is open to individual researchers from all around the world. It provides long-term grants to innovational projects from any field of frontier science. So if you come from life sciences, physical sciences and engineering, or social sciences and humanities, you can all apply. So the ERC offers independence, recognition, and visibility to its grantees, since they have the opportunity to work on a research project of their own choice, so there is no top-down direction here. They can gain financial autonomy for 5 years. Importantly, they can negotiate with their host institution about the best conditions for their work. They can attract good team members and collaborators from anywhere in the world, as the ERC grant is a sign of quality for the respective research team. And very importantly, they can move with the grant to any EU member state or associated country if they desire to do so. So, and of course, the ERC grant gives opportunities for additional funding in the future. Now, I will give you this short description of our current grant schemes. As you know, there are the original grant schemes, starting consolidator and advanced grants. In these grants, there is a main distinction. The main distinction between the applicants is the career stage. So in starting grants, we have researchers which are eligible from 0 to 10 years after PhD to apply, and they compete for 1.5 million euros for 5 years. In consolidator grants, researchers should be between 5 and 15 years after their PhD, with 2 million grant awarded. And in advanced grant, researchers with track record of significant research achievements can apply for a grant of 2.5 million for the same duration. In synergy grants, we fund teams of 2 to 4 principal investigators, which they compete for 10 million euros grant for a period of up to 6 years. And among this team, one PI can be based outside the European Union or the associated countries. So this is important for applicants that are not located in these parts of the world. Proof of concept is a relatively smaller grant of 150,000 euros for ERC grantees, and its aim is to bridge the gap between research and early stages of marketable innovation. And ERC plus grants is the newborn grant of the ERC, but is quite massive newborn, as it's a 7 million grant for a period of 4 to 7 years. And it's important to note that its target is principal investigators from all career stages, but with a really transformative vision for research. So the proposed project should be something that cannot be achieved with the other existing ERC schemes. So it's a totally different scale here. As I mentioned in some of the previous slides, during the ERC evaluation, excellence is the only evaluation criterion, and this has two sides. One is the excellence of the research project, which has to be groundbreaking in nature, and it has to be ambitious. On the other side, the excellence of the principal investigator is evaluated as well, and the reviewers will evaluate the intellectual capacity of the PI and their creativity. When you apply for an ERC call, it's good to have in mind that these are calls which attract very strong and competitive proposals. So only the outstanding ones will have a chance to be funded, and it is important to send your application when you have a proposal that is really ready. It's good to do some serious work in advance to assess its quality, the ambition, and how ready you are in general regarding your project before submitting. It's important to note that the success rates across panels are equal, and although the submission numbers may vary greatly between panels, fewer granted proposals in a panel will simply mean that there was a smaller submission number for this specific panel. I will go a little bit more into details regarding the proposal structure, the grant application. For those of you who are not familiar, the structure of the scientific proposal consists of two parts. The first part is up to 5 pages and should describe the overall idea of the proposed research. And part 2 is composed of 7 pages for the regular course, starting consolidator advanced grants, and 10 pages for the synergy ones. And this part should describe the implementation of the project in details, like research methodology, work plan, risk assessment, justification of the budget. And of course, I should mention that in part 1, the CV and the track record of the applicants is also included. So part 1 is evaluated in step 1, and both part 1 and part 2 are together evaluated in the step 2 of the evaluation process. An important point is that the feasibility of the scientific approach is not assessed in step 1. The timescales, resources, and details on methodology will be assessed in step 2, whereas the PI time commitment will be examined during the eligibility checks. So a little bit deeper in the evaluation process. As you might have guessed, this is a single submission process, but with 2 steps of evaluation. So in step 1, as I mentioned, part 1, CV and track record are evaluated by the panel members. There is a panel meeting in which they discuss their opinions on each project. Some proposals will be rejected with scores B and C, and the feedback will be sent to the applicants. And other proposals will be scored as A, which means they are of sufficient quality to pass to step 2. In step 2, there is a combined assessment by panel members and remote reviewers, which evaluate the complete research proposal. So part 1, CV, track record, and part 2. Once the reviews are collected from these groups of reviewers, there is a panel meeting and an interview of the applicants, where there is again a discussion on the projects. And in this case, the non-funded proposals will get a score B, and the funded proposals will be scored as A. So there is a chance that your proposal is scored as A, but in the lower range. So it may also be a non-funded proposal because it will be outside of the available budget. And of course, at the end of the process, the applicants receive the reviews of the panel members and remote reviewers as a feedback. In this slide, there is description of the titles of the current panels at the ERC. So you can see that they have been created in a way that they cover the full range of sciences, life sciences, physical sciences, engineering, and social sciences and humanities. And this means that you are invited to apply to the panel that is closer to the topic of your research. So this will be the most, in principle, this will be the most beneficial for your application. Now, contrary to what many people think, the budget is distributed among the scientific panels as a function of their demand. So the more application budget a panel gets, the more budget it will be attributed to it. The descriptors of the panels do not represent priorities, but they are there just to guide the evaluation of the proposals. The success rate is not linked to academic age of the PIs. The publication record is not a decisive factor for the selection of the proposals, and the host institution is not an evaluation criterion in any case. So it is very important to note that anyone from anywhere in the world can apply for an ERC grant. The grantees have the possibility to keep their affiliation with their home institute outside of the EU member state or the associated country in which they will decide to be based and spend at least 50% of their time. And the team members can be based elsewhere in the world. So you can have your team in a EU member state or in an associated country, and then some other team members can also be in a different place. The grantees can move within the EU or associated countries with their grant. So there is a big degree of portability. And just to note that currently for Horizon Europe, the associated countries in Africa are Egypt and Tunisia. And the host institutions of those two countries are eligible for ERC funding. Of course, people from researchers from other countries can participate either as partners to ERC grants, or they can be in contact with find actually a host institution in an EU member state or an associated country to support them, and then submit their application. In the frame of the Choose Europe initiative, currently there is increased ERC funding for researchers moving to Europe, particularly to an EU member state or an associated country. So the funding goes up to 2 million for those who are currently outside of these regions and apply for starting consolidator or advanced grants. So this is an extra support that would allow someone to tackle all the financial cost of transferring their lab or their research team. A few slides now about statistics and on the international characteristics of the calls and the applicants mostly. So here you can see the projects and how they fall into the different countries by host institution. And you can see that some countries dominate, but there is also significant success from a big range of countries, and things we want to hope that will be improving for these countries that currently have smaller numbers. Regarding the nationalities of the grantees, we have grantees from 15 non-EU or associated countries, and this represents 80% of all grants. Here you can see the top ones, and I hope it's clear that they come from very diverse places. And in these two graphs, I would just like to indicate that during the years there is increased international participation in starting consolidator grants, and to a lesser extent for advanced grants. So it seems that the ERC, at least for these calls, starts to attract more people from regions outside the EU and the associated countries. So since there have been a few changes in the work programs of the last couple of years, I would like here in this slide to just briefly mention important changes for the 2027 period. So from that year, in starting grant, applicants will be able to apply from 0 days after their PhD until 10 years after. For consolidator grant, the applicants will be eligible to apply between 5 and 15 years after defending their PhD. In these cases, the cutoff date for determining the PhD defense date will be set as the 1st of January. The researchers will be awarded no more than one starting or consolidator grants during their careers. And of course, all the situations for which an extension of eligibility period could be attributed will remain in place. And just to give you some examples of these possibilities for an extension of eligibility window, these may be linked to a maternity leave, to parental leave, in cases of long-term illness, more than 90 days, or of national service for the countries that have this as obligatory. Clinical training is under this category. If you have suffered some major disaster, for those who have sick or seeking asylum, and especially a new category, a recent category is that of gender-based violence or any other form of violence. This is the expected call calendar for 2027. So as you can see, the two 2026 calls are the advanced grant and the ERC plus grants. So they have both opened quite recently, and the submission deadlines will be in the indicated dates. And here you can, in the rows below, you can get an idea of on the dates that will be the calls will open and the deadlines for the three other calls. So yeah, I'm reaching to the end of the presentation, and I would just like to briefly project some figures on the ERC. You see that thousands of researchers have been funded since the ERC creation. A huge amount of projects have created publications in scientific journals. Many researchers and other professionals are employed with ERC funds. There are almost 1,000 research institutions that host ERC grantees. Many patents have been created based on ERC projects. We have at least 93 nationalities of grant holders. Many startups have been identified as founded or co-founded by ERC grants. And of course, we are proud to have many Nobel Prize, Field Matter Prize winners, and World Prize winners, and other prizes winners among our ERC grantees. It's important to know that in the last year, the ERC is making an effort to create classes in the forms of videos. So on top of our guidelines and the website where you can find all the information, there are also videos on our website where applicants and grantees can find information on how to write the application, how to understand the evaluation process, ways to prepare for the interview, how to comply with ethics requirements, explanations for particular calls like the synergy grants. So you are invited to watch these videos because they are hopefully more easy to digest, at least as a first step. And there are also classes for grantees. So if you're in the happy position to become a grantee one day, then you can also get more information about your responsibilities, how to work with third parties, the time recording requirements, personnel cost and how to report them, how to handle the invoices, and how to manage amendments required related to your grant. So all this will be also discussed in videos. And with this, I would like to thank you for your attention and your patience. And I will be happy to answer any questions to clarify anything that is in your mind. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Nikos, for this nice presentation. There is a lot of information related to ERC. So I think we have some questions from the audience, and I will try to allow. We have now, okay, we have 3 participants. We can allow them to receive the questions. Yeah, let's start with the first one, and the second one, and the third one. Okay. Please, colleagues, we can start with Paulus. Okay. Please.
Hello,
Chituna.
can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes,
Yes,
please go ahead.
yes,
Thank
can
you,
hear me?
thank you. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, of course. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for the great presentations. And they are very informing. And I am grateful that you organized for this webinar to let us know more of what you're doing and what's available at ERC. So I am a sports sciences student. I'm a Kenyan but studying in Europe. So my question was, my interest is in the area of sports science. Are there some specific grants that, of course, I know you mentioned that you you don't so much focus on specific areas and it's in general. But with the area of sports science, do you have any projects that qualify for grants? And secondly, I intend to defend my PhD next year, possibly in July or before July. Are there kind of programs that are suitable for people at my level, or I have to wait until maybe 2028 after defending my PhD? Thank you.
Yes. So regarding your first question, it's hard to answer. Like as first, you will have to have your idea, draft a project on the proposal on this idea, and when you have a clear project in your mind, then you will decide in which panel this proposal should end up. Because a project, let's take your case of sports sciences. Sports sciences can touch from basic mechanisms in the muscle to, I don't know, engineering aspects of sports to social implication of sport activities. So you could also go from life sciences to physical sciences and engineering to social sciences. So it will be up to you to focus your project and for anyone else to focus their project in a specific area of research. And from there, slowly try to figure out in which panel it fits. But normally, whatever project you have in your mind, you will find the panel in which this proposal will have chances to be evaluated fairly like any other proposal. Now, regarding your question on which grants to apply, in your case, after your PhD, you will be eligible to apply for a starting grant. Of course, it is up to you to, again, decide whether this would be the right time to do it or whether you would like to collect more experience and apply after a few years. It's a strategic decision. Some people, if they have a very strong CV, may want to apply immediately, and others may choose to wait until they gather more information, more experience. They have a stronger track record. So this is up to you. But what you should know is that in every call you will face strong competition. So it's good to take this into account and apply at the moment that you feel that your CV is the strongest for the specific call.
Okay, thanks, Nikos. I think we can move to another question. May you can see with me if just
On the
we have.
Q&A.
Yes, we will move to the Q&A after. We have Thomas. Thomas.
Yes, I just wanted to find out two things. One,
Thomas, just which country are you from?
Uganda.
Okay, Uganda. Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. Yes, I wanted to find out. Currently, I'm working on an advanced grant, and I've reached out to several EU labs that could host me for the 50% of the time that I'm supposed to spend in the EU. And then the remaining 50%, I will be doing field work and doing other lab work in Africa. So I have two questions. One, will the two host institutions be able to share the indirect costs, or it's only the EU institution that can have the totality of the indirect costs? I think that's the major question I wanted to ask.
Yes, I think in principle, the host institution that supports your application, the one in EU or associated country, receives the overheads.
Okay.
Now, I suspect that you can attribute part of your project, and probably a significant one, to research that you want to perform in possibly via your other host institution in another in your home country. But I think this has to be clarified case by case, and probably there could also be some negotiation from your side.
Okay.
So you can negotiate with both the host institutions and see how the funds can be managed.
The direct costs or the indirect costs?
The indirect costs.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. We move to Abera. Abera, please. Can you open your mic? So we move to Hannes Mutisha. Okay. Yeah, please.
How are you, everyone?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah. Also, Honest Mutisha is my name. I'm from Zambia. I'm currently working with Caritas Czech Republic in Zambia as a partnerships and external relations manager. And we've been working in livelihood as well as in the refugee camps, in all the 3 refugee camps in Zambia. And then there are gaps that we have seen around the education, the youths, and also the refugees. So I wanted to find out today, is number one, Zambia eligible for applying for grants around education, and especially that we would want to do a research around 2 things. Number one, we would like to do a research of school to work research, like after school to work, and then also issues around employment, after school employment, especially around refugees, the rural youths in Zambia, and also young women and those youths that are out of school. So that's what I needed to find out. And if we can do that research as an organization and eligibility, and how possible is it that we can chance ourselves into that? Thank you so much.
So as I mentioned in my presentation in some slide, the two countries in Africa that can apply directly for ERC grants and they are eligible are Egypt and Tunisia at the moment. There is a more complicated situation with Morocco, I think, at the moment. There is still some negotiation to my latest update. So regarding Zambia, I suspect the situation is the same as for any other third country. You could participate in a grant other as a partner. You could apply for be participant as a partner in consortia that are other than the ERC grants, to which I'm not a specialist, but you can find in the different websites of the European Union Commission programs. And
sorry, you can just repeat a bit. You said we can participate through partnerships of consortiums?
Yes, in other consortia. I suspect there may be some other programs in which you can participate directly. I cannot give you more details. I don't have this information. And the other thing, of course, is that you may manage to find via a collaboration, usually from other types of contacts, a host institution in an EU member state country or in an associated country that wants to to support your application and to host you with the potential ERC grant, and then you will be eligible to apply.
And where can that information be found? Can we find it on EU website or?
You mean regarding the institution that can host you?
Yes, please, if you are able to help me, so that we can do a research around them, and then maybe I can reach out to them to write them an email so that we see how we can collaborate.
In general, this, I would say, is the only structured point that could help you would be national point of contact. I don't know if you have one in Zambia. You could probably reach national point of contact in the country that the future host institution would be. But as far as I can say, the best approach would be to start a collaboration with someone or start having some discussions with someone that you meet, let's say, I don't know, in a conference or in some scientific event. Then you develop a professional relationship, and then from this you can reach their administration and see if hosting you would be possible. There is no central way central structure that would guide non-eligible applicants and connect them with host institutions that could support them. This is more the responsibility of the researcher themselves.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Let's move to Afiwok Tadesi. Afiwok? Okay, we move to Monayani. The CD.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the lovely presentation. I'm speaking from Stellenbosch University in South Africa.
Okay.
I just wanted to find out how many applications can one PI or researcher make in one call?
You can.
So, for example,
yes.
Since South Africa wouldn't be eligible for this, if a researcher makes a has approached 2 or 3 host institutions, can they make 3 different applications from 3 different host institutions in EU or EU associated countries?
The answer is no. You cannot do more than one application. So if you're in multiple applications, you will not be eligible for. You will be eligible only for one. Plus, it would be, in my advice, would be that this is not a good strategy, as you should focus on finding one host institution that really wants to support you, discuss seriously with them, see that everything that you need they can provide, and anything that they need you can provide. You draft a good proposal, I don't know, I guess with some advice from them based on their facilities, their experience, etc., and approach the grant application like that. Diversing your efforts is not a good strategy in my view, and from what I've seen. Actually, this is extremely rare. I've never seen it. So it's good to focus on quality rather than quantity when you plan your application and when you decide on your application strategy.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We move to Muhammad Omar. Muhammad.
Hello, can you hear me clear?
Yes.
Yes, thank you for your effort. I am Omar Ayman. I'm from Egypt. I'm just a graduate, so I don't like the other colleague here because I'm not starting in my research or something like that or papers. I want to be that in future. So how can I improve myself right now? So I'm just a graduate. I'm 23 years old. How can I start okay, my papers? I want to be a research in economics.
Okay. I got. So, please, Omar, Muhammad, you can subscribe in your Access Africa newsletter and the mailing list. You will receive a lot of opportunities from us, and we will learn and enhance your skills and your CV. So ERC it's for researchers and innovators. So when you become, you will have your PhD. You will be able to submit a proposal. So, but this time you can just join us in our your Access mailing list team. Okay.
But if you want to
Join.
if you want to be inspired, you could look at some previous ERC grants and get some inspiration. But as Ahmed said, we are not the base source to guide you on that. There are other organizations that can guide you better. Yes.
Can you mention to the other in comments to take a copy and search about it?
You can contact us. I will put the email address. Okay, you can contact us. Mail should be put mail address africa@access.net. You can contact us. So we will advise you. Okay.
Okay, in the comments.
Yes, in the chat. Okay.
Okay,
Let's
you.
move. Thank you. Let's move to Patricia. Patricia Walu. Patricia, please go ahead. You hear us, Patricia? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon. Oh, good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Patricia is from Kenya. I'm a student undertaking PhD in environmental studies, focusing on sustainable urban development. Now, thank you very much for the comprehensive presentation. What I've gathered is that basically your programs concentrate on those who have already completed their PhD. Now, my question is, do you have a parallel program that supports those who are undertaking research, but still continuing with the PhD program?
In theory, there is one grant in which you can don't be confused. I'm saying this to all of you. In theory, the advanced grants don't require a PhD. But of course, if you apply for an advanced grant as a non-PhD holder, your chances of getting it are almost zero. So this is it's a theoretical, legalistic aspect of the grants. But as ERC, I mean, we don't have grants that support people who have not completed their PhD. After the completion of your PhD, you would be eligible to apply directly for a starting grant. But there are other actions, other types of fellowships that could probably be more helpful for people like you. But we at the other European, type of support, but at the ERC, we don't have such programs.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next week, we'll organize 2 webinars in MSCA Action, Marie Sodowska QA Actions. And I advise you to be with us because we will present a lot of opportunities related to MSCA Actions. Maybe you can just find some opportunities, okay? Let's move to Okunula.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
My name is Olasukomi Abibokunla. I'm from Nigeria, but currently a visiting scientist at United Nations University Institute for Environment and Human Security, Bonn, Germany. My question is, I would like to know if United Nations University based in Bonn, Germany can host an ERC grant, and if they cannot, is it possible to look for another institution, and I can now say, okay, maybe I want to do 50% with that institution and 50% with the United Nations University. But my main question is, can United Nations University that is based in Europe host the grant? Thank you.
I'm not aware if this university has a particular status, but as far as I know, if it's based in the EU in Germany, then it should be able to support your application, and your application normally should be eligible. But you can clarify this with them; they should know. And if they cannot answer to you, you can contact the support for applicants of our agency, and they will tell you very quickly if this particular host institution is eligible to support your application. But in principle, I would say yes, but I don't want to give you a final answer because maybe there are some specifics I ignore, but the chances are probably that yes. You can look into it with them or with our support to applicants team.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I've made an inquiry because I wanted to apply last year. I've made an inquiry, but they said they are not sure. And I also sent an email to your contact person. I didn't get a specific response. And I didn't want to waste my time applying. And at the end of the day, I'll be disqualified because maybe my institution cannot host it. So more reasons why I think probably I can get a dependable response so that I'll be able to consolidate my effort.
What I don't think we should dig into this specific case, but I'm surprised that you didn't get a specific response from us. Normally, they should be able to tell you yes or no, and I would advise you, if they don't give you a specific response, to ask for a specific response, because it is your right to have a specific response. And if the answer was not clear, you can ask for a clarification. Yeah, I totally understand that you should not put your effort to the link to the wrong institution. So I would advise you to insist a little bit more maybe when you ask advice from the applicants team.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's move to Tegan Dagneo Tessema. Dagneo. Okay, we move to Deepak.
Hi, I am Deepak. I'm from South Africa. I have got Medicare fellowship previously twice. My question with respect to the ERC grants, particularly to the host institution, does it has to be an academic institution or it can also be a industry or a SMME?
Industry structures, organizations can also apply, yes, or other types of organizations can apply. It's not the applications are not open exclusively to academic institutions. So, for example, a pharmaceutical company could support your application.
It doesn't really matter whether it's for profit or not for profit institution.
Yes.
Thank you.
But maybe it should be legal entity
Based in Europe.
Yes.
Where I can spend 50% of my time as an African researcher because I'm currently based in South Africa.
In principle, is what I told you, that it's not constrained to academic institutions. But again, maybe the best would be to inquire first to say, okay, this is the entity that is willing to support my application. Would you consider this eligible? So again, in all cases, I would say ask in advance before drafting an application and realizing in the end that, oh, this entity is not eligible.
Yeah. So to whom should I ask?
You can send I think we can, I will send Ahmed an email in which this kind of questions can be sent, and then he will share it with you. And this way, all those who have this kind of questions can direct them to the right people for specifics.
The last question is with respect to the eligibility. The 15-year cutoff time for consolidated, is it inclusive of the maternity and the paternity leave and the other associated leave categories, or is it it's excluding the 15 years?
So any kind of extension would be added on top of these 15 years. So if you had 6 months paternal leave, then you would have 15 years plus 6 months.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Deepak. Let's move to Christelle Dewa.
Hi,
Christelle.
good morning. Yeah.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. I'm Christelle Bewa, and I'm presently a final year PhD student at the University of Yaoundé 1 in Cameroon.
Cameroon, okay.
But my question goes as follow. So for now, I got an opportunity to be as a research assistant here in Germany, and I've been looking into the ERC grants for quite some time now. My question is, since I'm presently in Germany working in an institute, can it be possible for me to apply with the same institution for an ERC grant, or I have to change the grant? I have to change the university.
I'm not sure I heard very well your status. You have a PhD?
No, I said I am a final year PhD student.
Okay.
In Cameroon. I'll be defending my PhD anytime soon if I submit the thesis early. But presently, I had an opportunity to work on a project in Germany as a research assistant in an institute here in Germany. So, and I said, I've been looking into the ERC grants like for some time now, and I'm interested. But I wanted to know if the same institute where I'm working as a research assistant, I can apply for an ERC starting grant with them, or I have to change the university.
You don't have to change the university. The point is whether this institute, if they agree to write the support letter for you, if you are into negotiations with them and they support your project, they want them to work with you, then you will not need to change host institution.
Okay, thank you. That was my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Christelle. Let's move to Hamza. Hamza Ibrahim. Hamza Ibrahim. Hamza, are you here? Okay. We move to Emmanuel. Emmanuel Martini.
Yes. Hello. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the presentation. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm a researcher in University of Milan, but my life is split between Uganda and Italy. So sometimes I'm in Uganda, and we are planning a project between my university and an African institute that is in Uganda. So it's not Egypt and Tunisia. I have a few questions. The first one, if you just illustrate us a little bit the ERC proof of concept grant, because I think our level at the moment is more something about that than a big synergy that we won with my university. But I think for this project, we are a little bit under it, and so maybe a proof of concept grant would be best. And the second question is for all the grants, if the team members, not the leaders, can be without a PhD, just maybe long research career, but with a master degree. So, I mean, the team members, not the, if I need the staff, like a researcher here or a researcher there, it can be, they can be without a PhD. And the third question is if the project must be done mostly in the European Institute, or if we win a grant with this collaboration, the researcher can be hosted in the African Institute for more than 50% of the time, let's say, something like that. If the project should be done mostly in the European Institute, or then it doesn't matter where you put it, if the partnership is solid.
Yes, so the requirement is to spend 50% of your time in the institution that is based in Europe or the associated country. And this, in practice, would mean that significant or very significant part of the research is also performed there. Of course, another part of the research could be performed in a third country, for example, your home country or another country that you choose that is not in an EU member state or an associated country. Regarding the staff without PhD, it depends, I would say. This is not something that we can say in general.
Okay.
If you write down an application and in there you describe that you will use people that have this or that qualification, the panel will also evaluate your selection. So if for this project you require highly specialized staff with very good experience in certain fields of research.
Exactly that,
yes. And then, yes, and you, for example, if the panel thinks you would need postdocs and you hire, I don't know, master students, then your application will not be convincing. In other cases, maybe it's not important, but this again is case by case.
Okay. It's not mandatory, let's say.
It's not, but it has to make sense.
Yeah, of course, that's for sure.
And regarding POC is for people who already have an ERC grant.
Okay.
So if you have an ERC grant, then you apply for POC.
Okay. I thought it was the opposite. You do a pure proof of concept before, and then you apply for a big grant.
No,
it would make more sense.
It's proof of concept in the sense that I understand. Yes, maybe it's confusing, but it's proof of concept of you use the results of the project to create a proof of concept for to transfer it to the market. So it's a little bit.
Okay. Thank you.
Ahmed, you're muted.
Sorry. There are some few questions, and we will move to the Q&A chat. Okay. Let's move to Marwa Mumni. Marwa.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you. I am Marwa. I am a researcher in Italy, but I am originally Tunisian. So I have a question for ERC starting grant. So no consortium, so we will be one PI. So the budget, how it will be like divided if we will include another members or another unit from other countries? And should we mention that in the work plan? Like we should mention just the country, the unit, the names. And another question about the synergy grant that you explained for us that we can be 2 to 4 PI. So this PI should have like 10 years to obtain the, like 10 years after the obtaining of the PhD, or they have some criteria. And the same question for the budget. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Yeah, regarding the budget, you will decide in principle how the budget will be distributed within the team members, the partners in your proposal. But again, this should make sense. If you apply for a grant and you give to yourself 5% of the grant and 95% to other people, it will look weird. But if you make a reasonable allocation of grant of the funds that will seem that benefit the feasibility of the proposal, then this will be perceived positively. So you have to do the best allocation to facilitate your research goals. Regarding synergy grants, there are no restrictions in terms of experience. So you can apply with 0 years after the PhD. It's open to all career stages. You can have 3 fresh people in a team. You can have mix of very experienced PIs with junior researchers. We see this sometimes. The most important thing is that everyone in the team has a role. They all contribute to the research project, and they are all necessary.
Yeah, thank you. But just a small question about like the work plan. It will be related with the budget. So in the work plan, you should mention the unit or the names of the people that will participate, because it will be not unit. It will be personal. Like it will be one member. We will not speak about university. We'll speak about. I don't know how to explain, but it will be member. It will be one person. So we should mention the name of that person that will collaborate for that activity in the work plan, or we should mention in general his university or her university, or like the SME that will collaborate in general.
It's good to mention both, I think. It's good to mention that we will collaborate with this investigator who is in this institute, and maybe write a sentence, or it's up to you how much you want to describe their expertise and why you choose this person in I think in a few lines, because sometimes the panel might see a name and they don't really understand why this person is
Yeah, so the
relevant.
expertise part is very important to explain the synergy between then for the activity. Okay.
Definitely, yes. You have to be very clear on who is doing what and why this person is the one you choose to do this, and you have to show that they have the required expertise to execute the suggested work.
Okay, so it is allowed to mention Prof X will be doing that from the University X. So it is not anonym, the proposal. You can like mention the names with the university.
You should mention the names. You
Yeah,
cannot,
thank you.
if you don't mention the names, it will not be, it will create questions. It will look like uncertain.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you. Let's move to Omar.
Okay, thank you. I can find the contact details or the program you mentioned in the chat box. Could you please send again?
Which contact details of Nikos?
When I asked you about how be a researcher in economics, you said I will send in the chat box email or contact details.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let's move to John Malamba. If not, to Mekonnen. Mekonnen. Okay. So I think I will give you the floor now to see questions already in the Q&A session, Q&A chat, please.
Okay. So maybe we can
Okay,
have some
good.
questions in
Good.
Q&A.
Good afternoon to you, team.
Okay, John.
It's John Malamba.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, John.
Thank you very much for. I
Okay,
proceed.
John. Okay, please
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Thanks very much for this wonderful presentation on how to enter into collaboration with the ERC, European Euraccess and the European Research Council for the funding research. My name is John Malamba. I'm from Kenya, based in Kenya. Work with an organization called Integrated Development Africa Program, EDAP Global, in collaboration with the JUST University, yes, research institution called Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Research, Science and Technology. And we have surveyed and discovered that we are coming around the shore of Lake Victoria, and we discovered that the Lake Victoria, which is the second largest freshwater lake in the world, it's not clean, it's polluted. So we have decided to find a way on how we can get some research funding in collaboration with the European Union to do the cleaning of Lake Victoria and make it retain its stability as the largest fresh water clean lake in the world. So my question is that we are already developed a research proposal, and we are seeking to submit this is our research proposal with the Jaramogi University, a research institution, to European Union Research Council, if they can finance or support the grants for research and cleaning of the Lake Victoria.
This is your question. If you can submit this type of grant.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I can submit our concept for consideration to Euraccess Africa or European Research Council.
From my
to support
side,
the grant for research and cleaning of the Lake Victoria.
If I understand correctly, from the side of the ERC, I cannot tell you if there is no concrete project, I cannot give you any advice, and you know, it's difficult to say this project can be submitted, this project cannot be submitted. It's up to you to decide whether this project is suitable for this call and submit it or not. You can also check other EU programs and see maybe there are some others that are more suitable. But specifically for the ERC, it has to be linked to transformative frontier research proposals. So you have to bring some innovation, you have to have some novel ideas, you have to have some, you know, something slightly, let's say, or revolutionary in your proposal that will make it attractive as a research project. I don't know if your work falls into that, and this is mostly up to you to decide and find out.
Yes, exact.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe if you can share me the content so that we already have a concept proposal, the site proposal to share with you to find out if it is possible or eligible for research funding.
We cannot give advice on specific projects. It's up to the researcher to develop their proposal, discuss with others, maybe consult previous grants and you know, previous applications, discuss with people who have obtained an ERC grant with more experienced colleagues, and then you can decide whether this grant is suitable for this call. But as I said, the ERC grants have specific characteristics. So we're looking for innovative research proposals. If you think yours is like that, you can take your chance.
But how about if maybe we have a collaboration with the European Union member states and
John Malamba, I will share with you our email and you can contact us. Please send an email and we will advise you how to proceed, okay?
Yes. Please. Share
okay.
Your email address.
We will put the email. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I think let's move to the Q&A chat. Please, May, can you take?
Yes, so we can have some questions. So the first one, are the grants open year-round or are there funding cycles? I think you showed this.
Are the grants? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Open year-round or are there funding cycles?
There is one call per year. So usually, unless there is some decision of the council to postpone a call for XY reasons, but normally you will have the call opening at a specific date during the year, and then you will have the call deadline in another date. There was a slide on that, and the slides will be shared afterwards. So you can also have a look in this slide, but of course you can also find the details on the ERC website, and the ERC website will also be on the slides, so you can navigate there to find specific information for each code.
Okay, so here we have another question from Simon. He mentions that I've always been interested with EU funding opportunities. However, many of the opportunities require a partner from the EU. This is a problem since you have to scan through volumes of profiles, and even after finding one, many times they either decline or fail to respond. Does Euraxis have a way to pair researchers for these two worlds so that such hiccups are uprooted? So maybe Ahmad, you can answer this question.
So May, this is the question related to Euraxis?
Yes. Does Euraxis have a way to pair researchers from Africa and Europe?
No
Yeah.
way, no, because we communicate about opportunities. This is our mission, is to promote and to assist and to organize webinars, to organize online events in order to assist you, to give you a lot of information, how to participate, how to be there, how to get the opportunity. Our mission is to be honest. It's to have you with us in order to catch all opportunities from EU, not to finance.
Yeah, okay. So a question from Maduka: for the starting grant, what count as track record if the publications are not criterion? Nicholas.
Yes. What counts as track record if the publication is not criteria? Yeah. So the track record can include. So the track record can include a more general.
Ahmed, can you mute? Ahmed, please mute. Okay.
Yes. So I was saying that the track record can include a broader description of your contribution to the community. For example, you can explain how your work has affected your research field. You can include some aspects of peer recognition, how you've been perceived in the community. You can even add elements related to educational work that you have done. So it's a little bit more broad than publications. Of course, if you apply in a competitive call like the ERC calls, your publications should be there, or some of them, at least some publications should show that your output it's relevant to what you are proposing, and that you have the skills and the capacity to execute the work. This is what the publications should show. Of course, you may have done things other than publications that are also important. You may have done very pioneering workshops. You may have, it depends on the field. So the track record gives you the opportunity to some extent to explain better the impact of your work.
Okay, another question: is the UK eligible for funding?
UK, yes. Fully eligible.
Yeah. I can see different kinds of funding opportunities. Can you just briefly explain who is eligible for which grants?
As we said, taking the three main grants, starting, consolidator, and advanced. Starting is for people who have 0 to 5 years experience after their PhD. 0 to 10. And consolidator 5 to 15. And for advanced grant is the majority of there is no time restriction, but the majority of the applicants are at the more senior career stage.
Okay.
This will be also on the slides and, of course, on the website. So it's quite straightforward to find the specific criteria, eligibility criteria.
Okay, I'm an early career researcher based in Egypt, and I'm interested in applying for an ERC starting grant. Could you please advise how can I find out whether my institution has an ERC support office or research services unit for proposal preparation, and who the local contact person would be? In addition, could you point me to the Horizon Europe ERC national contact point for Egypt so I know whom to contact for guidance on eligibility and the application process? I think I can answer this question. You can directly contact your university to figure out if you have an ERC support office or research service. Otherwise, you can contact your Access Africa. You can contact us to figure out the eligibility criteria and application process regarding the grants you wish to apply for. So let's find another question. I have a quick question about the ERC proof of concept. Can researchers or a PI based outside the EU or associated countries be involved?
To be involved, they can be involved, but as I said, someone to as a partner. You mean I know it's not clear, but as I said, the proof of concept is for grantees. So you need to have an ERC grant and then apply for the proof of concept grant. So you cannot start with the proof of concept grant. In this sense, they wouldn't be eligible because they need to have an ERC grant first.
Yeah, so a general question for all the grants, is a PhD mandatory, or team members can also be researchers, maybe with long research career, but only with a master's degree?
For the advanced grant, you can be in this category, but you need to know that you're competing with very high quality profiles in the advanced grant batch. So you have to be really exceptional. But in general, there is no requirement, yes, for a PhD.
For starting grants for researcher based in Egypt, is collaboration and short research visits to previous PhD supervisor lab in Europe allowed? Does this compromise the evaluation criterion of independence from supervisor?
Again, this is a case by case, but in general, short visits or collaborations are not perceived negatively. There are other elements that the panel will use or the reviewers will check to conclude on your independence. I think you have to show that you are able to produce to a certain level some work by yourself. This is the criterion for starting grants. But this will also be evaluated according to your career stage. Of course, in starting grant, you will not be expected to have 10 last author publications, but maybe it would help you to have a few first author publications. This could make your application more convincing, and it will show that you have directed a couple of projects and you have completed them, finalized them, and produced some work of certain quality. Going back to your lab to work a little bit more with your PI is not considered negative. It may even considered positive in some cases, but again, we cannot say something very specific to your case because we don't know all the details.
Okay, for an ERC starting grant, how should the budget be structured if the project involves essential collaborations with researchers in other countries?
For which grant, sorry, ERC?
Yes, for the ERC starting grants.
Yes, the teams that are collaborators, the partners, can receive some money from the grant, but this has to make sense. Now you have to give money to someone to do a specific work that is linked to the project, and it facilitates its realization. So the reviewers will see if this attribution of budget makes sense. If you give a certain amount of money to someone to do something very important for your project that you don't have the expertise to perform, then it makes sense. If you give the money to someone that does exactly the same thing that you do, and just because you prefer that they do it instead of you, this wouldn't make sense. I'm giving some extreme examples. It has to be reasonable, the budget, and it has to show that it's the best way to execute the project with the given resources.
Okay, can researchers from Nigeria apply to starting grants?
Again, as for all third countries, you can apply if you find a host institution in an EU member state or associated country to support you.
Okay. Can we receive the recorded version? Yes, you would receive the
Yes,
the
of course.
recorded
Yeah, we'll
webinar.
produce today an article news in your access portal, and we will put slides so you can download slides. You can view the recording video for the two sessions, the French session and the English session.
Okay. Would you clarify whether researchers who finished PhD more than 15 years ago are eligible to apply for the grants?
Yes, you can apply for the advanced grant.
Okay. Does a PhD student who's based in Africa be eligible to starting grant of ERC?
A PhD student, you said?
A PhD student, yes.
For starting grant, you need to complete your PhD and then apply. And if you are in a country that is not associated to Horizon Europe and particularly the ERC, then you have to find as we said, the host institution to support you.
Okay. Assuming I'm an associate of an institution based in Italy, can I use this as a means to apply for an ERC starting grant and get it administered by the Italian institute, even though my permanent institute is based in a non-associated African country?
In your application, you will need to have a letter from the host institution, the Italian one, if I heard correctly, that will say that they support your application and they would accept you as a researcher in their institution. So it's not about you declaring it. There has to be a letter there. There has to be a letter of support. So you have to have done some discussions with them, and they must have agreed, and then you add this letter to your application. It's not just a declaration.
Okay. Can one who is currently doing an EU-funded project apply?
Yes, unless you mean that you're doing if you have an ERC project already, then probably not. But I think you mean to another EU project, and yes, you can apply.
Okay. Is there any grant specifically for African or developing countries?
Sorry, specific grants for Africa?
For African or developing countries?
There are no specific grants for any countries from the ERC.
Yeah, not the ERC, but we have the Africa Initiative and the Mediterranean Initiative.
Yeah, this is for PILIA too, but as we know, we have member state, associate countries, and we have third countries. So this is
just for the previous question, not to create some misunderstanding. Someone asked if I work on an EU project, I can apply. This doesn't lift the requirement to be associated, to be supported by the host institutions in an EU or an associated country. I just meant that does not exclude you, but you have to fulfill all the other criteria as well.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any advisory service in your organization that applicants can contact for advice when building an application?
In our organization, you can find the guides for applicants. These are documents that you can find on the website. The website will be on the slides, and I also have some links for these videos that give advice to applicants and how they can structure their applications. And in the same web pages, you will also find the documents giving the same advice in a more detailed manner. But there is no dedicated support team from our side.
Okay. Maybe Ahmed, you would know who is the national contact point in Morocco.
I think
You
you
have it.
should just take over the funding and tender opportunities portal, and there is an option when you can find easily all national contact points. Just select the country and select ERC. You will be in touch with the NCP. So I put in the chat the link to call of proposal related to ERC. Okay, so you can see all call of proposals. So just I want to mention that all details already there. So you can just click on the call and you'll see for each call of proposal there is the expected outcome and the topic description and many details.
Okay. What's the best way to identify a collaborator in a host or associated country?
I'm not sure if I can tell you the best way, but I can tell you some ways that this can happen. So I think it usually happens via a collaboration that some people work together. So then they know each other, they know their research, the quality of work, if they can work together. And from this collaboration, you can get in contact with the administration of the host institution, and then they may want to support you. I suspect also that you can reinforce your networking by going to different conferences, meeting people there, then starting a collaboration and step by step building this relationship with someone. Now you can, of course, I don't think that starting to contact random host institutions would be very efficient. But I think my personal opinion is that probably it would be through personal interactions and collaboration.
Okay. So someone wrote, I'm based at a private university in Egypt. Does the fact that my host institution is a private Egyptian university have any impact on the evaluation of an ERC starting grant proposal? And which elements of institution support, for example, commitment to my independence, lab space, and infrastructure, are most important to demonstrate that this is an appropriate environment for hosting an ERC project?
In general, I don't think that the fact that it's a private institution is a problem. I don't know the specific institution and if there are some legalities that could create eligibility issues. But again, you can ask questions about your eligibility to our applicants support team. This is possible. Now, regarding the facilities, you will have to describe in your application to a certain extent how you will conduct the experiments. So I don't know exactly what research you plan to do, but if you don't show that you have or you plan to purchase, because you also can say, okay, in my budget, I want to buy this and that equipment to perform the project. This is possible. The important thing is that in your proposal, either you have to identify that you have to describe that you have the facility or you will have the facility to perform the project. Whether you have it already or you will buy it or you will move to another institution, it's up to you. But you have to show that somehow you have a plan on how to do it.
Okay. Can someone negotiate the time in the host institution, for example, for less than 50%?
To be less than 50% in EU or associated country it's not possible.
Yeah. Okay. On the presentation, it was said that for the consolidator grants after PhD, the eligibility is 5 to 15 years. I saw on the website that after PhD, it's 7 to 12 years. Could you please elaborate on this?
I don't know where, maybe you referred to the previous call because I mentioned the changes for 2027 calls. Now the 2026 calls are ongoing. You cannot apply anymore for COG, Consolidated Grant. But there is a change. That's why there is a specific slide in my presentation which shows the changes from 2027. So for the next call for consolidated grants, the eligibility will be 5 to 15. What you mentioned refers to the previous eligibility window, which has changed now. But the previous window is not relevant to you anymore because the COG consolidated grant call is ongoing. You cannot apply.
Okay.
So it's always as a general advice to everyone, when you want to apply to a specific call, you check which call this is. Is it 27? Is it, I don't know, 28 in a few years? Go there and check what are the windows because changes might happen for different reasons. Sometimes the windows need to adjust. It usually doesn't happen every year. It's confusing for everyone, so it's avoided in general. But it's good always to go to the website, see the latest communication, the latest rules, and then from there decide if you're eligible or not.
Okay. Is there a minimum number of participants that apply to the grant collaboratively?
Collaboratively, no. There is no need to add the minimum number of collaborators. Now, if you apply with a team of one person, I don't know all the disciplines. Maybe in some disciplines it could make sense. But in general, you have to show that the team that you propose is enough and capable and has the skills to perform the project, and you will hire the right combination of staff. So you will not be able to convince the reviewers that you will do very competitive research in a, I don't know, in a laboratory that works with state-of-the-art or I don't know, innovative techniques if you only hire master students. You will need to show that you plan to hire also postdocs and have a few PhD students to do some work. You know, you need to have the right staff to do the right work.
Okay. Applying for the advances grant, is it necessary to provide a narrative format of the CV?
I think there is the track record as usual. For the narrative, I cannot tell you from the top of my head, but I'm sure it's written in the guides for applicants for this particular code.
Okay. It's a long question. Someone mentioned, I've done studies in Ghana focusing on female entrepreneurship in the food service industry. I uncovered high level of heterogeneity within the industry. I also observed that geographical location of female entrepreneurs influence selection into the informal sector. I would like to know whether ERC grants favor such gender studies, since I would like to further investigate the extent to which geographical location underpin female informal entrepreneurial activities in other parts of the country.
If I understand correctly, this question refers to a specific type of project, and the ERC doesn't favor any specific type of project. If your proposal and this project is considered innovative and at the frontiers of research, then you can submit it as an application. But to tell you in advance if this project will be perceived positively or not, I cannot. It just depends on the quality of your application and the ideas you will have there.
Okay. Can researchers alone from Libya join with institutions from Tunisia or Egypt, for example, or they should participate as part of the Libyan institution?
They have to be supported by the institution of Tunisia in this case. So they will have to have the support of the support letter in their applications that this institution will accept them as researchers. If you this is to have your own grant. If you want to participate as a partner, you can.
Okay. For the synergy grants, do all 4 PIs have to spend 50% of their time at the EU host institution?
Sorry, for the? I didn't hear.
For the synergy grants,
Yes.
do all 4 PIs have to spend 50% of their time at the EU host institution?
Except one. So all of them except one. So if you have 2 members, one can be outside of the EU or associated country. If you have 3, again, one can be outside. If you have 4, one can be outside. So one team member can be outside. The others have to be for 50% of the time in the EU or associated country.
Okay. For ERC, you mentioned that we could possibly look at the previous grant submissions. Where can we access that information?
So you can see a rough description of projects. You can see in EU websites like Cordis. We can also put this in the chat maybe. And you can also check the ERC dashboard where you can find more information about previous projects. So there you can find from where and who got the project, the grant, and maybe from there you can find more information.
Okay. Do you have an on-ground place that we can visit in Egypt, or is there any easier way of communication? And if you could send us your contact information, again, our official email is africa@euraccess.net, so you can contact us using that. I'm Shams Fawi, Associate Professor of Entomology, Faculty of Science, Ain Shams University in Egypt. Thanks for the session. I'm asking about the grant time, deadlines, application process, and forms. I have connection across Europe and Africa. Another thing, is it possible to have China with us?
I think we've covered the application deadlines, process, etc. China, you can have partners from China, or you can also have collaborators. So it's not they are not excluded.
Okay. If the PI meets the 0 to 10-year requirement for the starting grant, but the co-PIs hold more experience, will this compromise the application?
For which type of grant? I don't, the co-PIs, you mean for synergy?
She mentioned, or he mentions that if they meet the 0 to 10-year requirement. So what was this?
So for starting grant?
Yeah, for starting grant, yes.
For starting grant, there is one. You mean maybe if the collaborators are more experienced or some team. If they are needed, no. I think you have to show that you are able to be the leader of the project. If you are able to convince that you are the leader of the project, then there is no issue if you are collaborating or you are involving in the project much more experienced people. In many cases, this will be a benefit because you have researchers in the project that bring the right expertise. But you have to show that you are the leader, not someone else is leading the project behind the scenes.
Okay. Is the MSCA postdoctoral fellowship program open to all African countries like Nigeria?
I think you will have this MSCA webinar next week or
next week. Yes. Yes.
I don't want to say things that I'm not familiar with.
Okay. What's the exact focus of ERC, science or societal impact, or both?
There is no requirement to describe societal impact. You just focus on describing how your research project is innovative and transformative, and this is enough for the ERC. There is no section in which you need to describe how this will change society or any other aspects that are not related to scientific impact.
Okay, someone asked, how do I access all the information about the call and when?
I think Ahmed
Yeah, I put the link.
put the link, yeah.
Maybe I can share my screen just one time in order to see how to be able to find all of call of proposal. Just tell me if you can see my screen or not.
Yes.
Can you? Yeah. Okay. In Google, I will put funding like that and thunders. Okay. This is the main portal. Okay. When we connect with the EU funding and thunders portal, we can click on call for proposals like that. Okay. And after that, we have the possibility to select the period. So actually from 2021 to 2027, and the program it's Horizon Europe, okay, like that. After that, we can click on all filters, and you can see in the right side here the architecture of Horizon Europe, and we are in the excellent science, and the excellent science we have the European Research Council. Okay, when we click here and view results, yes, we are connected with all call of proposal related to ERC. For example, this is ERC plus grants, advanced grants, proof of the concept. So when, for example, we click on this one, this is open for submission. The deadline is 2 September 2026. 26. Okay. You can see all details about the code, topic description, the topic updates, some conditions, and we can start submission here. Okay, to see the template of the proposal. Okay, I will stop sharing my screen now.
Okay.
I put in the chat the link to ERC dashboard where people can explore previous ERC projects.
Do you need EU partnership for synergy grants?
If you need EU partnership,
Yes.
you mean probably they mean to be based in EU country or associated country, and as I said, only one partner can be outside, can be in a third country. So for the others, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Is ERC acting independent of Horizon Europe?
Independent? No, it's part of Horizon. It's part of Horizon Europe.
Okay. Is South Africa eligible? I think you mentioned that everyone is eligible.
Eligible they are as long as they have the support for from a host institution in the EU or associated country.
Are independent researchers who are not associated to any university apply? I guess not.
You cannot apply by yourself. No, you need the support from an eligible host institution.
Okay.
Okay.
What do ERC? Do we have time, Ahmed, to take?
I think we come to the end, but let's see just one or two questions and we can finish. Okay.
Okay. What do ERC evaluators look for when assessing highly interdisciplinary proposal that combine humanities, social sciences, indigenous knowledge system, and artificial intelligence? Yeah.
In all proposals, from what I've seen, they try to they'll check if what is described makes sense, if all the combined disciplines are needed to tackle the scientific question. So you have a question, if you need these disciplines to answer this question, then it makes sense. If you have the right people from each discipline to approach these questions, it makes sense. If you have just disciplines there that are, irrelevant, or the people who are coming from these disciplines don't have the right skills to approach the questions, then this will be criticized. So everything has to make sense, and it should serve the investigation of the questions that you are proposing.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can end it
Yes,
here.
we come to the end. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Nikos, for this informative and insightful presentation, for sharing your expertise. Yes, on the European Research Council funding opportunities.
Thank you for managing the discussion, and thanks to all the participants. I know the system and their structures look maybe complicated at the first glance, but if you go through our websites a couple of times, then you will become more familiar and you will grasp the whole idea better.
Nice. Okay. Thank you, Nico. So just as mentioned earlier, the presentation slides and the recording videos for these webinars, the two webinars, of course, the French sessions and the English sessions will be shared with in the Your Access portal, I think today. And please connect with us. Next week, we will organize two webinars, one in English and one in French, to promote MSA opportunities with African researchers and innovators. So on behalf of Your Access Africa and European Research Council, thank you once again for your participation and interest. Please stay with us, and we have a lot of things to share with you. And we can say bye-bye. May, thanks a lot for your assistance today.
Thanks all. Thanks all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ciao.